Pain, oh yes, pain. The thing that breaks us, molds us, tests us, and yet, if we choose, it builds us. You see, pain isn't your enemy, it's your awakener. Pain isn't your punishment, it's your preparation. There are moments when life hits you so hard you forget who you are. But that's when the rebuilding begins. When you lose something, when people walk away, when dreams crumble before your eyes, you stand there with tears in your eyes and wonder, why me? But let me tell you this, sometimes the pain you feel is the signal that your foundation is shifting and a stronger version of you is about to rise. So today, I didn't come to talk about suffering. I came to talk about rebuilding. I came to remind somebody that every scar you carry is not a sign of defeat. It's proof that you survived. And if you survive, then you can rebuild from the ashes of loss, from the weight of betrayal, from the silence of broken dreams. You can rebuild from pain. Pain is the birthplace of strength. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But those words carry the weight of every sleepless night, every tear, every silent battle you fought when no one saw you. You see, pain is not the villain of your story. It is the sculptor shaping you into who you were meant to become. Strength is not born in moments of ease. It is born when life pushes you to your knees and you decide to rise anyway. Think about it. Have you ever seen gold become pure without fire? Have you ever seen a diamond shine without pressure? Have you ever seen a seed grow without breaking through the dirt? Every strong thing that exists has suffered first. Every strong person you admire has walked through pain that once tried to destroy them. The world only sees their shine. It doesn't see the storm that created it. There was a time you thought you couldn't make it. You felt the weight of everything pressing on your chest, and you told yourself, I can't take this anymore. But you did. You didn't even realize that while you were surviving, you were also strengthening. You were developing muscles of endurance, patience, and courage that only pain could teach. Pain stretches you beyond your limits, but in doing so, it reveals that your limits were never real. They were only walls built by fear. Imagine a person who has lived their entire life in comfort. They have never faced rejection, never tasted failure, never been forced to fight for something they believe in. They may seem happy, but their roots are shallow. The first storm that comes their way will tear them down because they never learned to stand firm. Now imagine someone who has been betrayed, broken, and left alone, but every time they stood back up, wiped their tears, and kept moving. That person carries a depth, a power, a wisdom that no easy life could ever create. Pain is not something you should run from. It's something you should rise through. When life hurts, it's not punishing you. It's preparing you. Think about a boxer in training. Every punch, every bruise, every aching muscle is building something within him. On fight day, he steps into the ring stronger than ever, not because he avoided pain, but because he embraced it. You can't become a champion in comfort. Growth demands struggle. Transformation demands discomfort. Let me take you into a simple daily example. Imagine someone who loses their job. At first, they are broken, fear takes over, insecurity whispers, you're a failure. But after a while, that pain becomes fuel. They start looking for new opportunities, learn new skills, take small steps towards something better. Maybe they open a small business, maybe they change careers. But that push, that spark of transformation was born from the pain of losing what they thought was secure. The moment that seemed like the end became the very beginning of a stronger, wiser, more capable version of themselves. Pain is not a wall, it's a door. And behind that door lies everything you've been praying for. Your strength, your confidence, your resilience, your destiny. The problem is, most people stop at the pain. They turn back when it hurts. But you have to walk through it. You have to let it refine you. Don't ask for a painless life. Ask for the strength to handle whatever life brings. Every scar you carry has a story. And if you listen closely, that story doesn't speak of weakness. It speaks of survival. That scar says, I went through fire, but I did not burn. I went through darkness, but I did not lose my light. That's what pain does. It gives you a testimony. It gives you the strength to help others who are still fighting their battles. Your pain becomes your power when you decide that it won't define you. It will drive you. You can't learn courage if you've never felt fear. You can't learn patience if you've never waited. You can't learn faith if everything always goes your way. Pain is the teacher that introduces you to parts of yourself you never knew existed. It teaches you how to breathe when life suffocates you. It teaches you how to walk when your legs tremble. It teaches you that even when your world falls apart, you still have the ability to rebuild it piece by piece. So the next time you find yourself in pain, remember something is being born in you. You are being molded, shaped, refined. Don't resist it. Grow through it. Life may break you down, but it's only to rebuild you into something unshakable. Just like a seed that must crack open before it can sprout, you too must go through breaking to discover your bloom. You are not weak because you hurt. You are strong because you continue. You are not broken because you cry. You are brave because you still try. Pain doesn't take your power, it awakens it. Every time you rise after being knocked down, you prove that pain didn't win. You win when you refuse to stop. So when pain visits you again, and it will, don't hide from it. Face it with courage. Look it in the eye and say, you can test me, but you cannot break me. You can shake me, but I will still stand. Because pain is not here to destroy you. It's here to show you who you really are. And one day when you look back, you'll realize that the moments that hurt the most were the moments that made you the most. You'll thank the pain because it was the birthplace of your strength. Don't curse the storm. Learn from it. Because the truth is, storms are not sent to drown you. They are sent to direct you. Every storm in your life has a purpose hidden inside it. Though at first, all you can see is the chaos. You can either run from the rain or learn to dance in it. You can either complain about the thunder or understand that it's only there to clear the air. Life storms are not punishment. They are preparation. They are lessons wrapped in thunder and lightning. We've all faced storms, moments when everything we thought was stable starts shaking. It could be the loss of a job, the end of a relationship, betrayal by someone you trusted, or even the sudden silence after years of noise. Storms come in many forms, but one thing they all have in common is this: they reveal what's real. When the storm hits, fake things fall apart, and only what's strong remains. Think about it. When a tree faces a storm, the weak branches snap first. But the roots, the parts buried deep in the ground, hold on. The storm doesn't make the roots weaker, it drives them deeper. And that's what storms do for us. They push our roots deeper into strength, faith, patience, and resilience. You may not like the wind, but without it, you'd never know how strong you truly are. Most people curse the storm because it disrupts their comfort. They cry, "Why me?" But what if you started asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" Maybe the storm is teaching you to stand on your own. Maybe it's teaching you that your peace cannot depend on people. Maybe it's removing what can't go with you into your next season. Sometimes the things that break your heart are actually the things that free your soul. Imagine this. A man has a beautiful ship and he sails it across calm waters every day. He believes he's a great sailor because the journey is easy. But one day a storm hits. The waves rise. The wind howls and the ship begins to shake. Suddenly, he realizes he's never truly learned how to steer. The storm humbles him, teaches him, and strengthens him. When the sky clears, he's not the same man anymore. He's wiser, sharper, more skilled. That's what storms do. They reveal your untrained parts and make you capable of handling the greater oceans ahead. We often pray for calm seas. But calm seas never made great sailors. Comfort never made conquerors. It's the storms that build you, the winds that shape you, and the rain that cleanses your path. Every challenge you faced has been molding you for what's next. If you had never been broken, you wouldn't know the strength of healing. If you had never been lost, you wouldn't appreciate direction. If you had never faced storms, you wouldn't know how much power lies inside you. Think of a daily example. Someone loses their job unexpectedly. At first, they're devastated. They feel hopeless, angry, confused. That's the storm. But slowly, they begin to think differently. They decide to start something of their own, to follow a dream they once buried. Months later, that storm becomes the very reason they found purpose. The pain became the push. The loss became the lesson. Without the storm, they might have stayed stuck in a life that wasn't meant for them. Storms don't destroy your purpose, they redirect it. Sometimes life shakes up everything around you just to make you move. It knows you're capable of more, but you've become too comfortable. The storm comes to wake you up. It doesn't come to end you. It comes to elevate you. And let's be honest, storms hurt. They confuse you. They make you question everything. But after every storm, there's clarity, there's peace, there's a sense of renewal. Just like how the sky looks cleaner after heavy rain, your heart becomes clearer after emotional storms. You start to see who's genuine, what truly matters, and what no longer serves you. Look at nature after every storm. Flowers bloom brighter, rivers flow fresher, and the air feels lighter. That's exactly what happens in your life. After every emotional storm, something new grows within you. You may have lost something during the storm, but what you gain afterward, a stronger mind, a braver heart, a wiser soul, is far more valuable. The storm is also a test of your attitude. Anyone can be calm when the sun is shining, but it takes true strength to stay grounded when the wind is wild. It's not what happens to you that defines you, it's how you respond. Some people let the storm break them. Others let it build them. The same storm that drowns one person can lift another to higher ground. It all depends on your perspective. So, the next time life sends you into a storm, don't panic. Don't curse it. Listen to it. Let it teach you. Let it strip away your fear, your pride, your doubts. Let it show you what truly matters. You'll find that when the thunder stops and the sky clears, you'll be standing stronger than before. Remember this, storms are temporary. Their lessons last forever. You may not understand it now, but one day you'll look back and say, if that storm hadn't come, I wouldn't be who I am today. So stand tall in the rain, hold your ground in the wind, and trust that every storm you face is shaping the strongest version of you. Because the storm was never meant to destroy you. It was sent to build you. Your breaking point can become your building point. It sounds strange, doesn't it? To believe that the very moment you thought it was over could actually be the moment everything began. But that's the power of life. It has a way of using your deepest wounds to create your greatest strength. Every time something breaks inside you, something new has the chance to be built. You don't rebuild from perfection, you rebuild from pieces. You don't grow through ease, you grow through impact. The moment you thought was the end was actually the start of your transformation. We've all had moments that shattered us, moments when our hearts broke, our trust collapsed, our plans fell apart right before our eyes. You tried so hard, gave everything, and yet it still didn't work out. You felt lost, powerless, and broken. But what you didn't realize in that moment was that something deeper was happening inside you. Life wasn't ending, it was reshaping. The breaking wasn't your destruction, it was your awakening. Think of a potter shaping clay. When the pot cracks or collapses on the wheel, the potter doesn't throw the clay away. No, he reshapes it, adds water, and begins again, this time stronger, smoother, more refined. The cracks were not the end, they were part of the process, and that's exactly what happens to us. The moments that break us are the hands of life reshaping us into something greater. Your breaking point is sacred because it reveals who you really are. When everything falls apart, what's left standing? When you lose what you thought defined you, what remains? Those are the pieces that become your foundation. When your heart breaks, it doesn't mean you're weak. It means you cared deeply. When your dreams collapse, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you dared to dream. The breaking is proof that you tried, that you lived, that you gave your all. Let's take an example from daily life. Imagine someone who has worked years for a dream, a business, a relationship, a career, and suddenly it crumbles. They feel empty, like everything they built has turned to dust. They hit rock bottom. But here's the beautiful truth about rock bottom. It's also the solid ground from which you can rebuild. Because once you've fallen that far, you have nothing left to fear. The worst has already happened. From there, every step you take is upward. When everything breaks, it forces you to see life differently. It strips away illusions and teaches you what truly matters. It teaches you to build not from ego, but from essence. You begin to rebuild with wisdom, with patience, with faith. The new structure you create after the breaking is more real, more meaningful, and more lasting than what came before. Think of how nature rebuilds after destruction. A forest fire seems to destroy everything in its path, but within months, new life begins to sprout. The soil becomes richer, the roots grow deeper, and the forest returns stronger than before. What looked like death was actually renewal. The same applies to your life. What looked like an ending was simply life clearing space for something new to grow. The truth is, sometimes we're holding on to things that were never meant to last forever. And when life takes them away, it hurts, but that loss is what makes room for growth. If you never broke, you'd never know your own power to rebuild. You'd never discover that strength that rises quietly after the storm. The breaking point is not a place of defeat. It's a place of decision. It's where you choose whether you'll stay down or rise again. And rising doesn't mean pretending nothing happened. It means accepting that it did, learning from it, and using those lessons as your foundation. Every broken piece of your life can become a brick in your new beginning. The pain that once made you cry can become the reason someone else finds hope. The darkness that once scared you can become the light that guides another person. That's how breaking becomes building. Let me tell you something. Sometimes the breaking is necessary to remove what was weak. A weak foundation can't support a strong structure. So life shakes it, cracks it, and breaks it down so you can rebuild on truth. Don't mourn the loss of what fell apart. Celebrate the chance to build something stronger. When you look back, you'll realize that your breaking point was actually your rebirth. You're not the same person you were before it all fell apart. You're wiser now. Softer in some places, stronger in others. You understand yourself better. You see the world differently. That breaking turned you into someone who doesn't just survive, but thrives. You don't rebuild from strength alone. You rebuild from brokenness. Because it's in the breaking that you learn humility. It's in the breaking that you discover compassion. It's in the breaking that you find the courage to start again. Every crack you carry tells a story, and every scar you bear shines with the light of what you've overcome. So, if you're at your breaking point right now, don't give up. Don't believe the lie that it's over. The breaking is just the beginning. The pressure you feel is shaping you, not destroying you. Life may have knocked you down, but you still have breath in your body, and as long as you do, you have the power to rebuild. One day, you'll look back on the moment that broke you and realize it was the best thing that ever happened to you. Because it forced you to rebuild with truth, with strength, purpose. So hold your head up even when it hurts. Stand firm even when you tremble. Because this breaking point, it's not your end, it's your beginning. And from these pieces, you will build something extraordinary. Let go to grow. Those 4 words hold a truth that life keeps trying to teach us again and again. You cannot step into your next chapter while your hands are still gripping the last one. You cannot move forward if your heart is chained to what hurts you. Growth demands release. You can't rebuild your life while you're still trying to fix what was never meant to stay. Letting go is not weakness. It's wisdom. It's understanding that holding on to pain, to people, to memories that no longer serve you only keeps you stuck in a story that's already ended. We all have something or someone we've struggled to let go of. Maybe it's a person who once meant everything. Maybe it's a dream that didn't unfold the way you imagined. Maybe it's the version of yourself that existed before life changed you. Whatever it is, we often hold on because we're afraid. Afraid of emptiness. Afraid of losing control, afraid of starting over. But growth begins the moment you release what was and trust what will be. Think about how nature works. A tree cannot keep its old leaves and grow new ones at the same time. Each season it lets them fall, not in sorrow, but in acceptance. Because the tree knows new leaves will come. It doesn't fear the loss. It understands the process. Life works the same way. Every ending is the beginning of something new. But you can't receive that newness if you're still clinging to what's gone. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean pretending it didn't matter. It means you've learned what you needed to learn, you've felt what you needed to feel, and now you choose peace over pain. You choose to free yourself from the weight of yesterday so you can walk lighter into tomorrow. Imagine someone carrying a bag full of heavy stones everywhere they go. At first, It's manageable. But as time passes, that bag becomes unbearable. Each stone represents regret, anger, guilt, disappointment. They try to move forward, but the load drags them down. Now imagine that same person finally stopping, opening the bag, and letting those stones fall to the ground. The relief, the lightness, the freedom, it's almost instant. That's what happens when you let go. You don't lose anything that's meant for you. You lose what was only meant to teach you. We often hold on to people who've already walked out of our lives, replay their words, their absence, their betrayal. But the truth is, some people were never meant to stay forever. They came to teach you something, maybe how to love, maybe how to be strong, maybe how to stand on your own. And once that lesson was learned, life moved them out of your way. Don't chase what's already served its purpose. Don't reopen doors that lead to the same pain. Sometimes peace begins the moment you stop begging for answers and start trusting that the reason will reveal itself in time. There's a powerful beauty in surrender. When you let go, you create space for something better to arrive. Think of a person who loses a job they loved. At first, they're angry, confused, scared. But eventually, that loss pushes them to explore a new path, one that brings more fulfillment, more purpose, more freedom than they ever imagined. If they had clung to the old, they would have missed the miracle waiting in the new. That's how life works. You lose what was safe so you can discover what's meant. Letting go also means forgiving, not for others, but for yourself. Holding on to resentment is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. It doesn't hurt them, it hurts you. Forgiveness doesn't mean what happened was okay. It means you're done letting it control your peace. You can't heal while you're still rehearsing the pain. You can't rebuild while you're still angry at the ruin. Freedom comes when you stop replaying the past and start rewriting your future. Every season of growth requires shedding. You'll have to let go of certain habits, certain thoughts, and sometimes even certain versions of yourself. The version of you that once tolerated pain can't go with you into your healing. The version of you that feared rejection can't go with you into your confidence. Growth is not just about gaining. It's about releasing what holds you back. It's okay to grieve the things you let go of. It's okay to cry, to feel the emptiness, to sit in the silence. That's part of healing. But after that, you stand, you breathe, you move forward, because life is waiting on the other side of release. You cannot receive new blessings with closed fists. You have to open your hands and trust that what's gone was never meant to define you. Letting go is not about losing control. It's about taking it back. It's about saying, I refuse to let what broke me continue to own me. It's about reclaiming your energy, your focus, your heart. The more you release, the more you rise, because growth and peace live on the same side of surrender. So if you're holding on to something that hurts, hear this: you are not abandoning your past. You are honoring your future. You are not giving up. You are growing up. You are not losing. You are making space for something better. One day you'll look back and realize that letting go was the bravest thing you ever did. Because it was the moment you chose yourself. It was the moment you chose healing over history, peace over pain, and growth over grief. It was the moment you stopped surviving and started living. So release the weight. Let go of what's gone. Trust the process. Because when you finally let go, you don't fall, you rise. The foundation must be faith, not fear. Because fear shakes, but faith strengthens. Fear builds walls while faith builds bridges. When life breaks you down, what you choose to stand on will determine whether you rise or crumble. You can either build your new life on the shaky ground of doubt or on the solid foundation of trust. Trust in yourself, trust in life, trust in the unseen force that always guides you even when everything feels lost. Fear whispers, what if you fail? But faith answers, what if you fly? Fear shows you the mountain and tells you it's impossible, but faith gives you the courage to climb anyway. Fear lives in the past and the future. It feeds on your regrets and your worries. Faith lives in the now. It reminds you that even if you can't see the full picture, every step you take matters. The moment you choose faith over fear, you begin to rebuild your life from a place of strength, not struggle. Think about it. When a building is constructed, the foundation is the most important part. No one celebrates the foundation because it's not visible, but without it, The entire structure would collapse. The same is true in life. You may not see the strength that faith gives you from the outside, but it's holding everything together on the inside. When your foundation is faith, storms can come, winds can blow, but you won't fall, you'll bend, you'll shake, but you'll stand. Faith doesn't mean you won't feel afraid. It means you won't let fear decide your future. It means you'll still move forward even when your knees tremble. You'll still believe even when the evidence tells you to give up. You'll still hope even when life feels hopeless. Because faith is not about seeing, it's about trusting. You don't have to see the whole staircase to take the first step. You just have to believe that each step will appear when you need it. In daily life, this truth shows up in the smallest moments. Imagine someone who loses everything, a business, a relationship, a dream. Fear tells them, you're finished. But faith whispers, start again. Fear says, you can't handle this. Faith says, you've survived worse. Fear focuses on what's gone. Faith focuses on what's coming. That person chooses to take one step forward, even without knowing where it will lead. And with every step, things begin to shift. Opportunities appear. Strength grows, healing begins. That's what faith does. It moves mountains quietly, one step at a time. We often think faith is something you have only when life is good, but true faith is tested when everything falls apart. It's easy to trust when the path is clear, but the real test of faith is walking in darkness with confidence that light will return. Faith is not about ignoring reality. It's about believing that reality can change. Fear says, it's over. Faith says, it's not over until I say it is. Every successful person you admire has faced moments of fear, but what set them apart was faith. The faith that said, I may not know how, but I will. The faith that refused to surrender to doubt. Look at anyone who has rebuilt their life after loss or failure. What carried them wasn't certainty, it was belief. They believed that something within them was greater than what stood against them. Faith is like a seed. It starts small, just a tiny spark of hope, but if you water it with action, it grows into strength. You might start with just a whisper, I can do this. You might not feel it yet, but that's okay. The power of faith grows as you walk forward. Every time you choose to believe instead of breaking down, your foundation becomes stronger. Sometimes faith is not loud. It's not a shout or a sermon. It's the quiet voice that tells you, keep going, when no one else believes in you. It's the decision to wake up one more day, to try one more time, to smile even when it hurts. That's faith in its purest form, not perfection, but persistence. And remember, faith and fear cannot live in the same house. One must leave for the other to grow. If you keep feeding your fear with doubt and negativity, it will grow stronger. But if you feed your faith with gratitude, hope, and action, it will become unshakable. Every time fear knocks on your door, let faith answer it. Think of a child learning to walk. The child doesn't stop because of fear of falling. They fall 100 times, but keep getting up. Why? Because they have faith in the process. They believe that if they keep trying, they will walk. That same innocent faith lives inside you. You just have to reconnect with it. The same power that carried you through your darkest days before will carry you again. Faith doesn't mean everything will be easy. It means that no matter how hard it gets, you will not give up. It means trusting that even when the road twists, there's a purpose in the turn. Sometimes what feels like a setback is just a setup for something greater. Faith teaches you that even closed doors are redirections, not rejections. When you rebuild from pain, let faith be your cement. Build your foundation not on fear of what could go wrong, but on belief in what can go right. Because the structure of your future depends on the strength of your belief. When you build on fear, you crumble with uncertainty. But when you build on faith, you rise with confidence. No matter how strong the wind blows, so stand tall even if your legs shake. Believe even when everything around you says not to. Walk forward even when the path isn't clear. Because life rewards the brave, those who trust even when they can't see. And one day, when you look back at all you've survived, you'll realize faith was never about avoiding the storm. It was about learning that you could walk through it and still stand strong. Use pain as fuel, not as fire. Because pain has two powers. It can burn you down or it can build you up. It can destroy your spirit or it can drive your purpose. The difference lies in how you use it. Everyone feels pain. Everyone gets hurt. But not everyone transforms that pain into power. Some let it consume them while others let it push them toward greatness. You can't always choose what happens to you, but you can choose what it makes of you. Pain can either be your prison or your power source. The choice is yours. When life breaks you, it's easy to drown in anger, resentment, or self-pity. But when you decide to use that pain as energy, to learn from it, to grow from it, to build something out of it, that's when your story changes. Pain becomes fuel when you stop asking, why me? And start asking, what can I do with this? Because every wound carries wisdom. Every heartbreak holds a hidden message. Every disappointment plants a seed of strength. Think about how a rocket works. It doesn't lift off without pressure and fire beneath it. The very force that looks like destruction is what propels it upward. That's how life works. The pressure you feel, the fire you face, it's not there to consume you. It's there to launch you. You just have to direct it. Instead of letting pain burn everything around you, use it to ignite your determination. Use it to set your dreams on fire, not your peace. Let's bring this into daily life. Imagine someone who's been betrayed by someone they deeply trusted. That pain cuts deep. It makes them question their worth, their choices, even their heart. For a while, they're broken. But then, instead of letting that pain turn into bitterness, they decide to grow from it. They learn to set boundaries, to value themselves more, to trust wisely. The betrayal that once burned them becomes the reason they rise wiser, stronger, and more grounded. They didn't let the pain destroy their faith in people. They used it to strengthen their faith in themselves. That's what it means to use pain as fuel. It's not about denying the hurt, it's about directing it. You take that energy and you say, I'm going to make something out of this. Maybe it's building your dream career after failure. Maybe it's finding your inner peace after heartbreak. Maybe it's helping others heal from what you've survived. Your pain gives you purpose when you stop running from it and start working with it. Pain has a strange way of revealing your power. You never know how strong you are until being strong is your only choice. When you've been broken, you understand compassion better. When you've been rejected, you learn self-worth. When you've been lost, you appreciate direction. The same experiences that once felt unbearable become the very ones that shape your greatness. The truth is, pain changes you. It can make you bitter, or it can make you better. It can close your heart, or it can expand your vision. If you let it, pain can push you toward your destiny. Every time you survive something that was meant to destroy you, you come back sharper, you come back wiser, you come back more dangerous in the best way possible. Because you've learned that no matter how hard it gets, you can rise again. Look at the people who've done incredible things in life. Many of them started with pain. The artist who paints to express the heartbreak they can't speak. The athlete who trains harder after every defeat. The mother who works tirelessly after losing everything to build a better life for her children. Their pain became the reason they refused to quit. The fire that could have destroyed them became the force that pushed them toward their purpose. When you use pain as fuel, you turn tragedy into transformation. You begin to see that your story has power, not because it's perfect, but because it's real. Someone else might see only your success, but you'll know that every victory was born from a wound. Every time you were knocked down, you rose higher. Every time you were told no, you created your own yes. Every time life said you couldn't, you proved that you could. You can't avoid pain, but you can outgrow it. You can turn your scars into symbols of strength. Every tear you've shed watered the soil of your growth. Every disappointment became a lesson in disguise. Every heartbreak was a reset that brought you closer to the right path. Pain only wins when you let it define you. But when you decide to redefine it, to make it your teacher instead of your tormentor, you take back your power. Let me tell you this, the fire that hurts can also heal. It depends on how you stand in it. If you stand in bitterness, it will burn you. If you stand in purpose, it will forge you. Just like gold refined in flames, you too become purer, stronger, and more radiant when you let pain shape you, not scar you. When you wake up tomorrow, think of your pain as fuel. Let it remind you that you've survived what others couldn't. Let it give you the strength to chase what others fear. Let it push you to create, to fight, to love, to live with more depth and passion than ever before. Don't waste your pain, use it. Because pain is not the end of your story, it's the beginning of your rebirth. And one day, when you look back, you'll realize that the things that once broke you were the same things that built you. The same fire that tried to consume you became the light that guided your way. That's what happens when you use pain as fuel. You rise higher than the flames that tried to burn you. Healing doesn't mean forgetting what broke you. It means learning to live beyond it. It means standing again, even with scars, and saying, I'm still here. You see, pain may visit, but it doesn't have to stay. It may shake you, but it doesn't have to define you. Healing is not a moment. It's a process, a quiet journey where strength grows in silence. It's when you stop fighting the memory and start focusing on your recovery. When you stop asking, why did this happen? And begin saying, how can I rise from this? That's when true healing begins. So many people believe healing means everything must go back to the way it was. But no, healing is not about returning to who you were before the storm. It's about becoming someone wiser, deeper, stronger after it. The person you were before couldn't have handled what you're carrying now. Pain changed you. Yes, but it also prepared you. It stripped away illusions, exposed truth, and reminded you of your own resilience. Healing is your victory march after surviving the war within. Let me tell you, healing takes courage. It's not easy to face what hurts you, to confront your own brokenness, to forgive when it feels impossible, to rebuild trust when it's been shattered. But that's exactly where your power is found. Every time you choose peace over bitterness, every time you choose growth over guilt, every time you choose to keep going when giving up would be easier, you're healing. Healing is not loud. It doesn't always come with applause or celebration. Sometimes it looks like crying at night and still getting up in the morning. Sometimes it looks like forgiving someone who will never apologize. Sometimes it looks like letting go. Not because it's easy, but because holding on is killing your spirit. Think about the wound on your skin. When it first happens, it hurts, it bleeds, it's sensitive to touch. But if you protect it, nurture it, give it time, it begins to close, to rebuild itself, to grow stronger tissue over what was once broken. That scar remains not as a mark of weakness, but as proof of healing. The same goes for your emotional and spiritual wounds. Healing doesn't erase the pain, it transforms it. The scar becomes a story of survival, not suffering. Take an example from everyday life. Imagine someone who lost their job suddenly, confused, fearful, and broken in spirit. In the beginning, it feels like the end. But slowly, they start to realize that this loss was redirecting them. They learn new skills, explore hidden talents, and eventually build something of their own. The pain that once felt unbearable becomes the foundation of a new purpose. That's healing. It's not forgetting the hurt. It's finding meaning in it. Healing also means forgiving yourself. Sometimes the hardest person to forgive is not the one who hurt you, but the one in the mirror. You carry guilt, regrets, what ifs that weigh your spirit down. But hear this, you cannot rebuild your future while living in the ruins of your past. You did what you could with what you knew then. Healing means releasing that guilt, learning from it, and walking forward lighter. The moment you let go of self-blame, you make space for peace to enter. In healing, patience is your greatest ally. You can't rush it. You can't force it. Healing takes time because you're rebuilding from the inside out. You're learning to trust again, to dream again, to believe again. And that takes strength. Every day you keep going, even when you still feel the ache. That's healing. Every day you speak kind words to yourself instead of cruel ones. That's healing. Every day you choose faith over fear. That's healing. And understand this, healing is not linear. Some days you'll feel free and other days you'll feel like you've gone backward. That's okay. Progress is not about perfection. It's about persistence. You might still cry about things you thought you were over, And that doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. Even flowers that bloom again after winter still carry traces of frost. Don't rush your growth. Trust your timing. People often hide their pain behind smiles because they think healing means pretending everything is fine. But real healing doesn't come from pretending. It comes from acknowledging. When you allow yourself to feel, you allow yourself to heal. You don't have to be okay all the time. You just have to keep choosing life even when it hurts. Because one day, you'll look back and realize that the pain you thought would never end actually became the reason you started to live differently. Healing also teaches gratitude. When you've been broken, you start appreciating small joys, the morning sunlight, a genuine conversation, a moment of peace. You realize how precious peace really is because you've lived without it. You find beauty in simplicity, hope in the ordinary. That's the magic of healing. It softens you without weakening you. It teaches you to love deeper, live slower, and appreciate every breath. And here's the truth. Healing doesn't mean your story ends with pain. It means your story continues with power. You're not who you were before the hurt. You're becoming someone even more remarkable because of it. The pieces that fell apart are being rearranged into a new masterpiece. Every scar, every tear, every struggle has shaped a stronger, wiser, more compassionate version of you. So keep walking even when it's slow. Keep believing even when it's hard. Keep healing even when it hurts. Because every step forward, no matter how small, is sacred. Every moment of peace after chaos is victory. You may not be fully healed yet, but you're healing, and that is enough. One day your pain will no longer be your story. It will be your strength. One day you'll realize that the process you hated was actually the pathway that rebuilt you. Healing is not just surviving. It's rising. It's finding peace where there was pain, purpose where there was loss, and love where there was emptiness. And when you finally reach that point, you'll understand that healing wasn't about fixing what's broken. It was about discovering the beauty in your own brokenness. Sometimes life will take everything from you just to show you what you truly have within you. You'll be left standing in the ashes of what used to be. Your plans shattered, your confidence shaken, your dreams delayed. And in that moment, you'll be faced with a choice: stay broken or rebuild stronger. Because no matter how dark it gets, power to rise is still inside you. The same fire that tried to destroy, you can be the fire that forges you. That's what it means to rebuild. Not from what's left around you, from the strength that's left within you. Rebuilding doesn't start with a hammer in your hand. It starts with a decision in your heart. It's the decision to not let your pain be the final word in your story. It's saying, yes, I've been hurt.
Yes, I've fallen.
But I'm not staying down. You rebuild when you decide that your future deserves more effort than your past deserves attention. You rebuild when you start showing up for yourself again, even when no one else does. You rebuild when you take one broken piece at a time and say, this will not end me. It will refine me. When you rebuild, you are not just fixing what was lost. You are creating something new. You are becoming someone wiser, more grounded, more powerful. The version of you that emerges after pain will never be the same as before. That's the beauty of it. You see destruction clear space. When everything falls apart, it's not always punishment, it's preparation. The old version of you had to fall so the new version could rise. Sometimes life has to tear down what's weak in order to make room for what's strong. Imagine a house that has been damaged by a storm. The walls are cracked, the roof is leaking, and everything seems ruined. But the builder doesn't walk away. He inspects the foundation. If the foundation is strong, he rebuilds. Stronger walls, a better roof, a safer structure. You are that house. The storm might have broken your comfort, but your foundation, your faith, your courage, your will to live is still standing. So rebuild, strengthen your structure, redesign your dreams, reinforce your purpose. Every great rebuild begins small. It's in those quiet, unseen moments where you decide to keep trying. When you wake up after crying yourself to sleep and still choose to get up, that's rebuilding. When you take the first step toward healing, even though you still feel broken, that's rebuilding. When you choose to believe again after being disappointed, that's rebuilding. Rebuilding isn't about speed, it's about consistency. Every day you try again, you're laying another brick in the foundation of your comeback. And rebuilding doesn't always mean starting from scratch. Sometimes it means using the same broken pieces and arranging them differently. It means taking the lessons, the pain, the scars, and using them as materials to build something beautiful. Those broken pieces of your life are not useless. They are sacred. They tell your story. They prove that you've endured, that you've survived, that you've kept going when others might have quit. Take, for example, a person who loses everything they once thought defined them, a job, a relationship, a dream. At first, it feels like the end. The pain feels unbearable, and the road forward seems unclear. But slowly, they start to rebuild. They learn new skills. They discover strengths they never knew they had. They meet people who see them differently. They build a life that's not just restored, but transformed. One day, they look back and realize that what felt like loss was actually redirection. That's what rebuilding does. It turns endings into new beginnings. Rebuilding also requires faith in the unseen. When you're in the middle of rebuilding, you might not see the progress. You might feel stuck, tired, or frustrated. But the seed doesn't see the sunlight when it's buried underground. It just keeps growing. In the same way, you must trust that every effort, every tear, every step forward is leading you somewhere greater. Don't let the delay discourage you. Let it prepare you. The things that take the longest to build are often the strongest to stand. Rebuilding yourself means learning to trust your journey again, to believe that the universe, life, or destiny didn't bring you this far just to abandon you here. You were meant to rise again. You were meant to rebuild. And this time you'll build wiser, stronger, more aware. You'll build with boundaries. You'll build with patience. You'll build with gratitude. You'll build knowing that storms may come again. But this time, you'll be ready for them. And remember this, you don't need to have it all figured out to begin rebuilding. You don't need every answer. You don't need every resource. You just need the will to start. Start with what you have, where you are. Because every great structure begins with a single stone. Every comeback begins with a single step. Rebuilding is not about perfection. It's about persistence. It's about the courage to try again, even when your hands are still trembling. One day, you'll look back and realize that the pain that once felt unbearable became the reason you found your purpose. You'll see that every time you thought you were being buried, you were really being planted. You'll understand that the fire that broke you was actually forging you. And you'll stand tall, not as the same person you were, but as someone reborn through resilience. So if you are standing in the ruins of your life right now, don't lose heart. Don't stare at what you've lost so long that you forget what you still have, the power to rebuild, the power to rise, the power to rewrite your story. You've already survived the fall. Now it's time to build your rise. You are not defined by what broke you. You are defined by what you build after the breaking. And when people look at you later, they won't just see the pain you went through. They'll see the strength you built from it. They'll see the courage it took to start again. They'll see a person who turned ruins into rebirth. And that right there will be the proof that rebuilding isn't just about recovering what was lost. It's about discovering who you were always meant to be. Forgiveness is not about saying what happened was okay. It's about freeing yourself from what happened. It's about choosing peace over poison. When you hold on to anger, bitterness, or resentment, you chain yourself to the past. Every time you replay the hurt, you reopen the wound. But when you forgive, you release that weight. You stop letting the pain control your heart. Forgiveness doesn't mean you for it. It means you refuse to let the past steal your present. It's not weakness, it's strength. Because it takes far more courage to let go than it does to hold on. Forgiveness begins not with them, but with you. It's a gift you give yourself, not the person who hurt you. You forgive so that you can heal, so that you can breathe again, so that you can rebuild your life without carrying the heaviness of yesterday. When you keep holding on to grudges, you keep giving the past permission to define your future. You can't rebuild from pain while you're still clutching the debris of resentment. At some point, you must look at the pieces in your hand and say, I've carried this long enough. It's time to let go. It's not easy. Forgiveness doesn't come instantly. It's a process. It's not about pretending the pain never happened. It's about acknowledging that it did and deciding that it no longer deserves power over you. Some people wait for apologies that may never come, but true healing doesn't depend on someone else's remorse. It depends on your own release. You don't forgive them because they deserve it. You forgive because you deserve peace. Think of it like carrying a heavy stone. At first, you tell yourself you can manage it, but over time, it drains your strength. You can't move freely. You can't focus on what's ahead. That's what unforgiveness does. It keeps you stuck, tired, bitter. But the moment you drop that stone, you feel lighter. You can walk again, breathe again, dream again. The pain doesn't vanish, but the burden does. Forgiveness is the act of dropping that stone and saying, I will no longer carry what was meant to crush me. Let's take an example from daily life. Imagine someone betrayed your trust deeply, a friend, a partner, a coworker. The hurt runs deep, and every time you see them or think about them, the pain resurfaces. You start building walls to protect yourself, but those same walls also keep out peace, joy, and love. Then one day, you realize that holding on to the anger hasn't punished them. It has only punished you. So you decide to forgive, not because what they did was right, but because you refuse to let it ruin your heart anymore. That's the moment your healing begins. That's the power of forgiveness. It frees you without needing permission from anyone else. Forgiveness is also about forgiving yourself. Many people walk around burdened not by what others did to them, but by what they did to themselves. The mistakes they made, the opportunities they missed, the words they wish they hadn't said. But hear this, you can't rebuild your life while living in self-blame. You are human. You've stumbled. You've fallen. But you've also grown. Every wrong choice taught you something. Every regret shaped your wisdom. Forgiving yourself is not saying you're proud of everything you've done. It's saying you're willing to learn, to change, and to move forward. Some people think forgiveness means reconciliation, but it doesn't always. You can forgive and still keep your distance. You can release the pain without reopening the door. Forgiveness doesn't mean you invite them back into your life. It means you remove them from your heart's prison. It's about reclaiming your energy, your focus, and your peace. You're not rebuilding for them. You're rebuilding for you. Forgiveness also rebuilds your strength. When you hold on to anger, it drains you emotionally and mentally. It poisons your thoughts. But when you forgive, you regain that energy. You start seeing life differently. You stop wasting time wishing things had been different and start investing time in making things better. Forgiveness clears the fog from your vision. It allows you to see beyond the pain. It gives you space to rebuild with clarity, not with chaos. And sometimes forgiveness doesn't happen all at once. You may forgive today and still feel the sting tomorrow. That's okay. Forgiveness is like peeling an onion. It happens layer by layer. Every time you choose peace over bitterness, you're peeling away another layer of pain. You're teaching your heart that healing matters more than hurting. You're building your freedom piece by piece. In the quiet of your heart, forgiveness whispers, you can start again. Because as long as you hold resentment, you're still tied to the moment that broke you. But the moment you forgive, the past loses its grip. The chains fall. You begin to walk lighter, speak softer, love deeper. You rediscover the power within you that pain tried to hide. Forgiveness isn't a gift to the past. It's an investment in your future. Think of how nature forgives. After a storm, the trees don't curse the wind. They stand tall again, letting new leaves grow. The river doesn't hold grudges against the stones that blocked its flow. It simply finds a new path. That's what forgiveness is. Finding a new path when the old one caused too much pain. When you forgive, you make room for blessings. You open space in your life for new energy, new opportunities, new love. You can't fill a cup that's already full of anger. But once you empty it, once you release all that bitterness, life begins to pour new things into it. Love finds you. Peace surrounds you. Joy becomes natural again. Forgiveness is not weakness. It's strength dressed in grace. It takes power to look pain in the face and say, you no longer control me. It takes courage to love again after being betrayed, to trust again after being broken, to hope again after being hurt. But that's what forgiveness does. It restores your power. So if you're holding something heavy today, let it go. Forgive them. Forgive yourself. Set your spirit free. Don't wait for time to heal it. Healing begins with forgiveness. Because every moment you choose to forgive, you rebuild a piece of yourself that pain tried to destroy. And one day, you'll look back not with anger, but with gratitude. Because forgiveness didn't just heal you, it rebuilt you into someone unstoppable, peaceful, and free. Faith in the unseen is the bridge between where you are and where you're meant to be. It's believing in light even when you can't see it. Trusting that the darkness you're walking through is not permanent and holding on when everything around you tells you to let go. Faith is not about seeing the path. It's about taking the first step, even when the ground beneath you feels uncertain. It's the whisper that says, keep going, when logic screams, give up. It's the quiet confidence that even in your weakest moments, you're still being led towards something greater. Faith doesn't erase pain, it gives purpose to it. It doesn't make life easy, it makes it meaningful. When you have faith, you stop seeing obstacles as punishments and start seeing them as preparation. You start to realize that delays are not denials and closed doors are not rejections, they are divine redirections. Faith reminds you that the storm you're in today is nurturing the seeds of tomorrow's blessings. Life often tests your faith right before your breakthrough. The moment you start to feel like nothing's working, that's usually when something is shifting behind the scenes. But you can't see it because faith operates in the unseen. It's like planting a seed. You don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You water it, you protect it, and you trust the process. In the same way, faith is about planting your dreams in the soil of patience and trusting that growth is happening even when you can't yet see the results. In daily life, faith is what keeps a mother believing that her struggling child will find their way. It's what pushes a job seeker to apply again after 100 rejections. It's what makes a broken heart believe in love again. Faith is not a concept. It's a living force that moves you forward when reason tells you to stop. You don't need to have proof to believe. You need to have belief to see proof. Faith also requires surrender. Sometimes the hardest part of faith is not waiting. It's letting go of control. We all want to know the how, the when, and the why. But faith teaches you to trust even when you don't understand. It's learning to say, I may not know how this will work out, but I believe it will. That's power. That's peace. Because once you stop trying to control everything, you make space for miracles to happen. There's a story in every life where faith made the impossible possible. Think of the person who battled sickness and chose to believe in recovery even when the reports were grim, and they healed. Think of the student who failed multiple times but kept believing they could succeed, and eventually they did. Think of the person who started a business with nothing but a dream, and now they're thriving. In every one of these examples, faith was the fuel that kept them moving when everything else told them to quit. Faith is not built in comfort, it's built in crisis. When everything goes right, you don't need faith. But when everything falls apart, that's when faith steps in. When the doors close, when the road disappears, when the answers don't come, that's when faith whispers, trust me. It's in the waiting room of uncertainty that your faith grows the most. Because faith isn't proven when life is easy, it's proven when life is hard and you still believe. Faith is also deeply personal. No one can see it, no one can measure it. Everyone can feel its power through your actions. People with faith don't just talk about hope, they live it. They show up, they keep trying, they refuse to quit. They understand that faith without action is like a bird with no wings. You can't just sit and wish. You must move as if it's already yours. That's the secret. Faith doesn't wait for signs, faith creates them. Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cliff and there's fog everywhere. You can't see what's ahead, but you're told to step forward because there's a bridge. Faith is taking that step, trusting that the bridge will appear as you move. You don't wait for the fog to clear, you walk anyway. Because sometimes life doesn't show you the full picture until you start walking in the dark. Faith is also what transforms fear. Fear says, what if it doesn't work? Faith says, what if it does? Fear looks at the mountain and says, it's too high. Faith looks at the mountain and says, start climbing. Faith is not about ignoring fear. It's about walking forward despite it. It's about believing that something inside you is greater than the challenges ahead of you. In daily struggles, faith is what helps you hold your head high when life tries to break you. It's what gives you peace when nothing makes sense. It's what reminds you that setbacks are not signs of failure. They're setups for growth. Faith keeps you calm in chaos, patient in waiting, and hopeful in hardship. When faith lives in your heart, no situation is final, no loss is permanent, and no failure is fatal. Faith is also contagious. When people see you believe in yourself and in something greater, they start believing too. Your courage becomes their courage. Your light becomes their guide. The way you hold on in your storms can inspire someone else to hold on in theirs. That's the beauty of faith. It multiplies hope wherever it goes. And when the miracle finally comes, when the dream unfolds, when the pain ends, when the door opens, you'll look back and realize that faith was never about getting what you wanted. It was about becoming who you needed to be. You'll understand that every delay was developing your patience, every disappointment was deepening your trust, and every detour was directing you to a better destination. So keep believing even when it's hard. Keep trusting even when you can't see. Keep walking even when the road is unclear, because faith is not about seeing the way. It's about knowing that the way exists. And as long as you keep faith alive, no storm can drown you, no mountain can stop you, and no pain can break you. You were never meant to live in fear. You were meant to walk in faith. And one day, when you look back at your journey, you'll realize that faith wasn't just what carried you through the fire. It was what taught you how to shine within it.